Right, good morning. It's the Lisa and Deb show, or the Deb and Lisa show.
Whatever.
Yeah, welcome. And today, this week, we're going to do what we did last week, which was to pull a few cards. And have you got any crystals today,
got
Lisa?
got my crystals ready.
Maybe pull out a crystal and then just talk about our word of the week and then anything else that comes up in that.
Cool.
How are you, Lisa?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I've had a brilliant week. So, how
Good.
about you?
You have had a brilliant week. You've got another brilliant week coming up, haven't you? I've had
Yeah,
a good. Sorry.
sorry, I just said yes. Go on.
Yes. I know I've had a good week, but my week is will be summed up in my word of the week. So I can explain more in my
Okay.
word of the week. But it's been a good, I always have good weeks. It's a good week. So no dramas here.
Brilliant, brilliant. I woke up this morning. Well, I didn't wait. I woke up and went straight into a meditation before the world could get to me. And I had. I know it's what I've been listening to and what I've been trying to affirm to myself. But it was so clear to me that it's so important. I'm very goal orientated. So, like, I give myself a goal and I'm striving towards that. And I realised this morning that I've missed half of my life. I have been so goal orientated that I forgot to enjoy the journey to that goal.
Yeah.
And it was, I know that's obvious, but it sort of resonated with me more this morning. And I thought, I'm just going to be less goal orientated, enjoy the moment, and then see what comes from that, rather than thinking I definitely want this certain thing and trying to work towards it.
I agree. I'm very, very much anti-goal. So you know me, I don't do goals, but that doesn't mean you can't focus. And I think there's a subtle difference between, like you say, ignoring the rest of life in pursuit of a goal, or choosing to keep bringing your focus back in line for something that you're aiming for, but being allowing and aware of everything else that's going on and enjoying it at the same time. So I think for me, I just don't do goals because they just don't work, and I know my brain seems to work differently to that. But focus is a good word to put in instead of goal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right.
So that's
Do you
cool.
want to start off with your cards or
My crystal.
your crystal? Yeah, is
Right, so this week's one is an angel aura crystal. Can you see that?
that blue?
It's kind of a little opalescent. It's probably difficult. The light shines through it. It's an odd one, depending on the light hitting it, what
Very
colour it is.
pretty. It comes across blue on the screen.
Yeah, so it's different colours like pinks and oranges and blues and greens. So angel aura. So that is, as you would imagine, great for communicating with your angels. Could mean that there's an angel around you at the minute. Clears out all the chakras. So it's a pure crystal for that. So it's not particularly aligned to one chakra or another. So it's great for just cleansing all the chakras. And it's also a good one for connecting to higher knowledge. So I could meditate on that or just keep that with me all day, and then I'm going to be opening up the channel to my higher self, which is quite cool. So that's the angel aura.
Very pretty. Very
Yeah.
pretty. Talking about channeling, I watched the Oprah and Abraham Hicks video this
Interview.
morning. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
She did it in two parts over 2 weeks,
Yes.
didn't she? I thought she was a bit hard on Esther sometimes.
She's
Just
a bit of a god botherer though, so I think that's like slight conflict.
yeah, I think it was, but I thought she was quite difficult with it. And I still struggle. I love Esther, but and I still struggle with. But I found it easier to understand, because I just went straight into listening to Abraham Hicks. It resonated with me, so I carried on listening. But all the time thinking, this is very odd, and that you're channeling and it's not even a person you're channeling that you've called Abraham Hicks. It's an entity. So
Collective
for me,
conscious.
yeah, getting your head around that was difficult. But when she explained the story, the backstory of how she got to that, and that was over a long period of time, and how long it took her to sort of connect with that, then that made an awful lot more sense to me. So
And
yeah,
it was strange for her at the time, wasn't it? She was like, whoa, what is this?
yeah,
To happening to her. And I think until you've had that exchange or that channeling or that conversation with another entity, being, spirit, vibration, or whatever. It's, you just can't imagine it yourself, probably. And I think at that time, when Oprah was interviewing her, Oprah was almost from this very, I would say, Christian, biblical viewpoint, and that just came across, didn't it?
Yeah,
but also, I think
it's weird all the time, all the way through the interview, didn't she?
But probably, I think she was also posing the questions that a lot of her own audience would ask.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's probably the majority of people would probably ask those questions as well.
Agreed. Right, well, I'll pull a card.
Go on then.
I have already shuffled them just as we started. So let's have a look at this one. It's Romance Angels Are Helping You. Oh, I could do with a bit of that.
Cool. Was that a knock at the door?
Who is it?
George Flowers.
George Clooney again. Keep telling him to go away. Okay. Romance Angels Are Helping You. There's the card.
Oh yeah, that's lovely.
Some naked imps or something. Okay, so the card validates that your prayers concerning your love life have been heard and answered. Okay,
Have you been praying?
Yeah, only every minute of every day. I haven't. I think when I'm meditating, it comes up, and I just sort of acknowledge that in the future that's what I want, but it's not something I'm going, please bring me someone now. There's a group of ethereal beings called the Romance Angels who specifically work with matters of the heart. These angels are giving you intuitive guidance to prepare you for great love. Lovely joke. To manifest a soulmate, you must express the qualities you desire in a partner. So the Romance Angels may ask you to make healthful lifestyle changes, focus on self-improvement, learn additional interesting hobbies, or make new friends. The more that you listen to your intuition, the faster your prayers for loving relationship will be answered. Well, I get all that. That is it's what I believe anyway. I think you've got to ask the universe exactly what you want.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yes, I asked last time, but I don't think I was specific enough, was I, Lisa?
Yes, I think I've done that so many times. I've asked and I got exactly what I asked for.
Yes.
It wasn't what I wanted.
No. And I know that, and I hear that. So I think next time I'm going to write down in intricate detail every single thing that I want. But I'm not ready for. So what that card's saying is to get in a place where that could possibly happen. I need to do some more work on myself, both health wise and I'm assuming meditation and you know, attracting more joy and happiness into my life before I'm aligned enough. Do you remember Trisha Goddard?
Yes.
Trisha used to say, if you want to catch a different fish, you've got to change the bait. And that just keeps going around in my head, and it has done for years, because it's all right, people saying, well, I keep attracting these wrong people, but you've got to look at what you're giving out yourself, haven't you, to know that you're attracting the wrong person for a reason.
And also, I think you've got to, that's good when it's saying about hobbies or whatever, you don't change yourself, but when you look at what you're offering and what you want from a person, you've got to make sure that you match that. So kind of, if you want someone that's emotionally intelligent, that doesn't do game playing, well then you have to make sure you're that person too, to be able to match them and recognize them and be in a space where someone like that would want you as a partner as well. So it's a bit like up-leveling yourself, not changing yourself for anyone, but up-leveling to make sure that you're the right match for the person that you want to be with. And that's great. You're in a great position now, and you're doing that, aren't you? Working on yourself. And once I know that when I was in a space where I was truly happy by myself in my own vibration and everything in my world was amazing, then I met the most amazing man. Before that, I wouldn't have recognized him because I wasn't in the place to recognize someone like that.
Yeah.
So you're in that amazing place now, aren't you? You can literally create that space so that when the right person comes along that meets all of those things, the whole is there in the sense, but you know what I mean?
I'm just not ready, and I know I'm not ready, and I don't see it being any time in the next year or two, to be honest. I'm too focused on other areas of my life and aligning with myself. And you know, I've got my kids and my grandchildren, and that's all that I want right now. That's the only love that I've got room for. But I'm sure in the future that will change. But right now, and I know that because I've been approached by a couple of men in various media, and I'm just not interested. I just do not want to go into that space, if you know what I mean. I'm just not there and not interested. I'm much more aligned with getting my career changed and sorted, and working on myself so that I am ready when the right person comes along.
And it's worth it. It's really worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is scary because I don't think I've been on my own very long throughout my whole life, and that's probably where the issue is. One to another.
Yeah, and I think it's when you really have that time that you really can go deep down inside, and all the things that come up, instead of the minute someone else walks in the door and changes everything, you have to sit with that, don't you? You have to sit with yourself every evening once the kids have gone to bed. It's that space that's really important for you to come to terms with yourself, and then you can grow from that.
Yeah.
And everyone should do that. I think never go from one to another The space that you can spend by yourself can probably be the most valuable time.
Definitely. We don't need anybody else.
No.
So it's a want thing, isn't it? A desire. But I'd rather wait or never have another partner again than settle for anything that isn't less than I'm worth.
Because a year, a week, and a day can seem a long time if you've settled, can't it?
A day can seem a long time if you settle.
Yeah.
For other people's bullshit, but there you go. So what is your word of the week?
Well, my word of the week came from your angel card reading you did for me last week.
Okay.
And it was the one word that stood out was the word commitment. I don't know if you remember that angel card.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So the word that stood out was commitment. And so that's where I've been sort of holding that word all in the last week, because as you know, I'm a multi-potentialist and I have several things on the go at the same time, or within my week I certainly want to visit several different aspects and facets of what I like and enjoy doing. And I'm constantly sort of thinking, should I be spending more time on this, or I'd like to be spending more time on that. And it's like a bit spreading yourself thin. I never really focus all of my time on one thing to get to another level on it. Now that bit I'm happy to open up to the universe, because I know when I am meant to move on something, everything happens and I don't even have to try. So I've kind of got that in the back of my head going, well, I don't want to force it. I don't want to become goal oriented. I'm focusing on something that's okay, but I usually know when the vibe is there for me to focus on, because this will happen, that will happen, that person will contact me, and it goes so easily when I'm meant to be in that channel. So I was thinking all week, am I afraid to commit? Am I just being open to flow, or could I benefit from focusing more on certain things? So that's all I've been doing all week, is just bringing that up and sitting with it and thinking, what if, because I'm great, I think it's great to play things out in your head sometimes. What if I focused more and committed some more time to that? And then you think, and how would I feel by the end of that? And what of the things that I'm not given attention to, how does that affect me? So that's what I've been doing this week, sitting with the word commitment and thinking, should I commit to that? Should I focus on that? And I got a book on one of the things I've been not really pushing, which is growing my online coaching, digital marketing thing, you know, that whole arena around my book, and thinking, am I reluctant to commit to that? Is there another way I could commit to that feels lighter to me? Because, you know, I've been not wanting to go backwards, I've been wanting to go forwards. So like you, it's using the book that we've written about a period in our lives, but not wanting to dwell back there energetically. So I've been looking at, maybe I can go forward in a forward moving way, which sounds, you know, not contradictory to going forward in a backward moving way, but you know what I mean. So that's my word of the week. And so I've read a book by somebody in that arena, specifically about taking the business forward, and I kind of think, yeah, I could conceive of a way that I could do X, Y, and Z. Checking in with Rod, because he's going to have to do some of it because he's the IT person. So checking in with him, he would be okay if I focused it in that way. But I haven't. So I've been reading the book and just thinking about it and just waiting to see. I kind of think, if it's the right thing for me, you know, I'll wait for a sign, or the universe will nudge me. So I'm just waiting for the nudge to make sure that that's definitely the thing that I want to commit more time and focus to. So that's what I've been doing this week.
Well, you know what comes up for me when you're talking about that is that sometimes, though, when you're waiting for something to nudge you, you get several things at once that nudge you, and then you don't know. Like this week, I've had several things just pop up that you could initially think is a nudge, but really turns out to be something else. Like, sorry, I've left my phone on, you know why. And yeah, that really is a blind alley perhaps, and then I just get confused then and off my train, my focus. So yeah, I'm a bit sort of like, I don't know whether, how do you recognize a push and not just someone trying to get something from you?
Yeah, I think nothing's wasted, because if you did get pulled in another direction and it turned to be a dead end, at least you know that that's a dead end and not to go in that direction. So at least you've learned something.
It's contrast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I, like last week, you said that you asked for a sign, so I thought, oh, in my next meditation I'll ask for a sign, and I got that someone that wanted me to help them over some, you know, the health issues, and I got a different sign, I can't remember. So then I think, okay, that's saying that avenue is still there. Well, it's up to me whether I go down that avenue, but it was sort of saying, well, you wanted to know if this is still an option, or, you know, and I thought, okay, that's saying to me yes, but I'm still working out the nuts and bolts of which direction I go in. But yeah, shiny object syndrome's like, I'm the worst for that, where I kind of go, oh, and this, and then, oh, that over there, and I'll just look at that now. And especially with everything digital, you just get so much stuff in front of you every day, don't you, that you could follow up, you could have a go at, you could read, you could watch, and then you never actually get down to the one thing that you wanted to achieve. But then I listen to my gut so much that I could be sitting in the middle of doing something and I suddenly think, this doesn't feel right. I think I need to stop this right now, and I will do that. So you know, it's allowing yourself to do that. When so many people go, I've been doing this for the last 7 days, I must finish it. You're like, why?
Yeah.
If your energy's gone, if your enthusiasm's gone from it, don't kill it. Don't kill yourself if it's just the wrong thing suddenly, because anything could change in the world, couldn't it? The world shifts all the time. I don't know if you feel those, but I feel the shifts. So you'll suddenly feel like, I don't know, the whole of the atmosphere's changed. So if you've been in the middle of working on something and the whole world has shifted, it's futile. You might as well go, you know, not go with the flow like being a sheep, but don't force it, don't fight it. If you feel within yourself that it's like, hang on, this isn't working for me anymore.
I agree totally, and we're overcoming our own conditioning, or parents' conditioning. Like my mother would say, "Well, you never finish anything,"
Yeah,
that sort of thing, and that those
yeah,
tapes play in your head, and then you feel like you've got to prove something, don't you? And not always. I mean, there is a rebel in me that might think that way and then go, "No, I'm not doing it anyway," especially now because of your. I mean,
yeah.
I know I'm fighting myself, but you still got my mother's voice in my head. You haven't. I've still got my mother's voice in my head, saying those same old things.
Oh yeah, I still get that now. She'll still say that now. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
what's the latest new thing then? As if to say, you've always got something.
I get that. I get that all the time. She, despite me having a conversation about being on the radio on Sunday, and it had to be changed because of the snow that we had, so it was moved forward to this coming Sunday, which is the 1st of April. Despite me having a conversation with her, she phoned yesterday and left a message on the answer phone saying, "Are you too stuck up now that you've been on the radio to speak to me? I've been waiting since Sunday for you to tell me how it all went, but obviously you're too snobby." That's the message I
Oh
got.
my goodness.
Yeah, no, I'm not snobby anyway, but that's bizarre. But then I rang her and said, "Do you not remember the conversation we had? Have you got Alzheimer's? Because you even told me yourself that's the day you've got a scan," and we laughed because it's a Sunday, but she'd forgotten. And no apology, just, "Oh yeah, you're right," sort of thing. So I'm
My
still
goodness.
dealing with that, all those little, cut
Niggles.
downs and things that
Yeah.
we've got to deal with. But my word, we just I left it to the last second. It's Discord.
Cool.
And the reason being is that you and I both love Abraham Hicks and Esther, and we also think a great deal about Kyle Cease. Both, you could argue, come from the law of the universe way of thinking. Both are that way inclined, but I noticed this week a slight, because I listen to both. I listen to Kyle and I also listen to Abraham Hicks or Esther several times a day sometimes, and there's definitely a difference in their approach, and this is what caused the discord, because it's confusing me as to how to handle something. And the difference is that Kyle is always saying that you should feel a feeling. Like if you're doing something and then you feel uncomfortable or sad or something comes over you, an emotion, Kyle is sort of says that you should go with that feeling, love that feeling, and I love that. Love that feeling and go, but let it be, let it go. Like actually feel it rather than try and suppress it in any way. And then if you listen to Abraham Hicks' teaching, they're saying that, or Esther says, or Abraham says, that you should not give any negative feeling more than 16 or 17 seconds. I'm just going to, hang on. Right. No, because it's from Manchester. And she doesn't come from Manchester. So anyway, sorry about that. I'm expecting a call. So yeah, it's the wrong one. So yeah, as where was I? Abraham Hicks sort of teaches that you shouldn't dwell on anything for more than 16 or 17 seconds if it's negative, because then that takes hold, and then you reiterate those thoughts and keep going over it, and then you manifest it or make it worse, so that you need to refocus on something else. But to me, that's saying refocusing on something else isn't dealing with that sadness or that anger or that feeling. So I'm a little bit confused as to, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think when Carl says, if you're, so say you're in emotional pain and you sit with the pain and you love that,
Yeah.
My heart, not my heart, can't say my heart's been broken, my expectations have been broken. And I love that. I can acknowledge that I'm feeling that I've had the experience, because that will have freed you up to meet a much nicer person, say, if you've been let down. So you can love the pain, you can love the fact that you're alive to feel the pain, you can love the fact that you've had the experience to feel the pain, you can love the fact that you're now free to go on. So although you're loving it looks, I think, sort of contra, really, that you're loving something that's not so great. You're loving all the things that it's giving you.
Right.
I think.
Right.
And so if you say, I think from Abraham Hicks' point of view, if you were saying, I hate them, that they've left me, and I'm heartbroken, and I'm never going to meet anyone again, and calling them names under the sun, that's a negativity that where your attention goes, you're going to be attracting more of that. Whereas if you're sat there going, I love what I've learned from this, I've loved that's freed me up to meet someone else, I think both of those, you could still lead you to a positive outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's, don't dwell on something, or with Esther and Abraham, the minute that you realise that you're focusing on the negative aspect of it, swap it out and say, I'm going to look for the positives in this. I'm going to think better. I'm still alive. Even though my heart's broken, I'm still here. My heart's still beating. I've got another day to live. People that have died this morning from terminal illness would give anything to have this day. Mm-hmm. That kind of, you've really got to check in with yourself about whether it is such a big drama and reframe it. And then in Kyle's sense, it's saying, I don't think it's not, you don't ignore it. You accept fully where you are. You accept all of your emotions, and you love that, and you allow it, and you come out of it being grateful for the things that it's taught you, and being grateful for the things, life lessons and whatever. I think that's still a positive outcome.
Yeah. And it is, because it's contrast, isn't it? And I do fully resonate with that whole idea of, when somebody on the biz club that we're on Facebook, Lulu's group, was saying this morning how there was a thing with a bird, and it said, where there's a will, there's a way. This helps me when I'm having a bad day. And I said, I don't think of bad days now. I used to until recently, but it's never a bad day. It's a contrast. If the day isn't exactly like all power, all energy, spinning on our different level or being aligned, then it's a day of contrast, isn't it? It's a day to teach you what you don't want, and that gets you more aligned with what you do want.
Yes.
So I can't look back on my relationship. I'm not heartbroken. It's like you said, my expectations of that person are broken and hurt. And the lack of it, but I'm not heartbroken because it wasn't real anyway. So there's that. But if I look back now, I don't think, oh, that's a failed relationship or a failed marriage. I think that was a harsh contrast, wasn't it? A harsh lesson, but it's taken me to where now I'm not afraid to question. I wouldn't be afraid to question. I'm not looking to fit in with anybody. I'm looking to be who I am, and that's enough. I'm not looking to fit in with anybody anymore. I'm not going to run with someone else's rules to please them by losing myself at the same time. So in a way, that's a massive, huge gift.
Yeah, you've learned loads, and you've had a massive shift, and you've emerged completely different person. Yeah. So you can only be grateful for that, and that's when I did that video, why I'm grateful I lived with a psychopath.
Yes,
because that's a catalyst. So you have to be grateful to that person, and so then whenever you look back on that, you're not focusing on the negative, you're focusing on the positive, all the positive things that came for you out of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't reply to that thing about having a bad day, because I would have been too flippant. I'd have been like, as long as you woke up and you go to sleep, that's not a bad day. So just stop fucking whinging. So that's why I didn't comment. Every day is a good bloody day as long as you're alive.
Did you watch? Do you watch the Bake Off? The one for, is it Stand Up to Cancer?
No, I haven't watched them.
Okay, so watch them if you can. They're on BBC iPlayer. You can watch them. Bill Turnbull, was on the first one, and then and he's now got cancer. And then last night there was a story. So you're watching it, and it's very funny because they have comedians on it, and it's hilarious. It was hysterical last night. And then they have a story, and it was of this beautiful lady with two absolutely amazing children and a husband that idolised, that only young, sort of mid-20s. And I hate those stories because I know it's going to end badly.
Oh,
and
no.
Last week's it was a little girl, and she died only like 11, and it was her sisters talking about her. And I don't know about you, but I literally am sitting sobbing my heart out. Yeah. And I thought last night how grateful I am, because the girl, the young woman did lose her life, and like, so her husband was left with two kids at 28 years old, and breast cancer, and she, it wasn't very long before she'd gone. But I was just thinking as I was sobbing, that we're so lucky to just get another day.
Yeah.
Let alone be worried about it, sort of thing. So it's about learning, isn't it, and evolving, and not feeling sorry for ourselves, and just taking the best.
Owning your part in it.
Yeah.
If something really crappy happens, what vibration were you putting out? Did you need to learn something from this? If someone drives into the back of your car and you end up that, you miss your meeting, the car has to go into the workshop. It might have been that you've just avoided a fatal crash on the dual carriageway. Yeah. And that's, you never know what hasn't happened. So you can only deal with what has happened. And I think that's another thing, and that kind of, people get so forward, sort of fearful about what has yet to happen, and they're never dealing with what's actually happening now. Yes, someone might have driven into the back of your car, but you're still alive. You've got whiplash. You might meet a really dishy doctor. Who knows where that.
I've actually got whiplash.
Sorry?
I have actually got whiplash.
Oh, no. Get to the hospital.
No, it's New Cross. No.
Oh. But yeah, so I think, there's things that happen in my day where I'm like, do you know, that's really frustrating me, or that's really annoying me. And you have to just go quickly, what's the worst that can happen? What can I do to rescue this? Is it really that big of a deal? And then if you start to sort of pan out from this microcosm of that we're living in right in front of our noses and go, do you know what? On a larger scale, my house hasn't caught fire, my children are both happy and healthy. They're like kind of the worst of things that could happen. So the fact that, I don't know, Tesco substituted the wrong thing in my I can't make this because they haven't got that ingredient or whatever, Well,
you've got Rod, who makes Millionaire gluten-free shortbread. I don't think I'd be moaning about anything, to be honest.
Exactly.
And he's an IT whiz kid, and he's just a really nice person. So, yeah. If you could clone him, or his brother was older, I'd be really appreciative, but unfortunately not. So I'm just going to have to look for a Rod-like person out there. Well, let's hope so.
If he was out there, there's more out there.
Well, fingers crossed, in time. But yeah, so it's been a good session today. Do you want to bring it to a close, because we remember what I did last week?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone, on the Lisa and Debs and Lisa show. Thank you, Deb Fetcher. Good luck with your phone call later, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I'm going to put